Hello and welcome to She Boss Talk. I am Shantae R. Roddy. I'm coming to you with a breaking news, another stimulus update and news report. This is June the 14th. Okay, so we're halfway through the month. We have important news, especially regarding the Restaurant Revitalization Grant. So for the thousands of you all that applied for this, you definitely want to tune in to this program, as well as other updates regarding the SVO grant, the targeted EIDL, the Paycheck Protection Program. And this will be an opportunity too for you all to drop your questions here. If you have questions while I'm on live, please do that. This may be one of my last videos before I go on a business trip. So I definitely want to make sure you get your answers, the answers to the questions that you all have. As you all are coming in, just want to welcome you all in. Just let me know who you are, where you're hailing from, what your business is. We always like to know. Thank you all for your continued support. Just want to welcome all of our new viewers. If you're not subscribed, do subscribe, especially if you want additional content regarding relief, free money, more funding for your business, want to learn more ways to amplify your impact, your influence, and your income, this is the channel you want to stay tuned to, because I am the expert in regards to that. I'm the expert in all things SBA and federal and state stimulus programs. So again, if that is something that you're interested in as a business owner, please do subscribe. Do give this a thumbs up, hit the love button so more people see this video. Do share out this video on our channel so more people see it. Again, sharing is caring. We know that literally millions of small business owners are still in need of tons of relief. As much as we have the relief programs that are out, that are rolling out, there is still more relief that is needed. Still too many businesses have closed and continue to close, still struggling. So we are here to help you overcome a lot of these different challenges so you can get the money that you need so you can move your business forward. Okay. So with that said, hope you all are having a great start to the week. I'm looking forward to a great week ahead. I hope you are too. And so let's be action oriented. Let's set our intentions this week, our goals, and go after everything that we want this week. So let me get right into it. I first want to talk about the Restaurant Revitalization Grant because we received some major news regarding this. If you apply for the program, please let me know in the comments. I will be sharing my screen to show you the letter that went out from the SBA to applicants of the Restaurant Revitalization Grant. Now, this grant opened up, I believe, last month. It was open for a shorter period of time. More applicants applied than they have actual funding to actually support the program. And we know during the first 21 days, the funding or the processing of applications were going to women, veterans, and disadvantaged businesses. Well, unfortunately, the SBA is subject to some lawsuits. So specifically regarding this program, there's 3 where they had adverse rulings, which means that there are a total of 2,965 small business owners who were approved for funding, waiting for their deposits, and now it's frozen. Okay, so I want to talk about this because you should have received a letter if you are one of those 2,900 applicants. Maybe they sent out this letter to all the applicants. I don't know. So if you received the letter from the SBA, let me know in the comments. I'm going to actually pull it up on my screen so you can see. Again, you will definitely want to check your inbox and your spam folder. There was a meeting or a webinar that they were giving out that they referenced in the letter that you definitely want to make sure that you either attended or you can get the replay or find out, make sure that you're aware of what's going on with regards to the program. So don't worry about if you can't see it on the screen. If you can understand the words, like I say, that's coming out of my mouth, you should be good to go. But this is so important because right now this is affecting, again, a little bit over 2,900 applicants that are in the states of Tennessee and Texas. However, it could expand further. Okay, so we know many thousands of businesses apply for this program. And it could be your funding, or it can be in jeopardy of getting delayed. So let me again go back to my screen here. You will see it on the screen. This is what the letter looks like that came from the SBA. I try to expand it as much as I can, but I'm just going to kind of review what the letter or the email says. Okay, so it's addressed to you as the applicant of the Restaurant Revitalization Award portal. That means that you submitted an application through their portal, and they're letting you know that they regret that due to the court rulings, recent court rulings, that the SBA, Small Business Administration, will not be dispersing your funds, right? Your Restaurant Revitalization Fund awards. How devastating is that? To open up your email, you're in full anticipation that you're getting your money. You've been told, you submitted your application, you put your time and your effort into it, and you were awarded it, told you're going to get your funds, and now it's all halted. Okay. So that's what the SBA is saying. And through the American Rescue Plan Act, which this is the program under the $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, the SBA launched this program and prioritized applicants, right? So from small business owners controlled by women, veterans, socially and economically advantaged for the first 21 days of the program. And then after that launch, 3 lawsuits were filed challenging the 21-day priority period. 1 in Eastern District, Tennessee, and 2 in Northern District of Texas. Now, these lawsuits have led to 3 adverse court rulings against the SBA. The SBA is not able to pay 2,965 prior applicants, including whoever received this letter, okay, who were previously approved and notified of approval. The SBA will not pay claims because the legal conclusions in these court filings would preclude payment. Yesterday, as according to this email, the U.S. Department of Justice, on behalf of the SBA, filed a notice and a declaration in North District, Texas, and Eastern District, Tennessee, to notify the courts that these 2,965 payments or applicant payments would not be made. So they are under injunction. And so what that means is that they have to put it on hold, put it on pause. They cannot do anything with them funds. They cannot disperse them. So the SBA is expressing that the leadership is frustrated about this outcome and remains committed to doing everything they need to support disadvantaged businesses to get the help that they need to recover from this historic pandemic, which it is. And so they asked you again today, they were holding a informational session with the Associate Administrator of Capital Access, Patrick Kelly, at noon Eastern. So that was about an hour ago. So again, check for that. And it told you where to click to get that information. So hopefully there's a replay or recording after the fact. This is very sad news, but it's important because, let me just go through the information on how many people apply for this program. So more than 362,000 business owners with restaurant and food in the food and beverage industries apply for this program. It closed so quickly. That is totaling around $75 billion. So this program was only funded for $28.6 billion. So they reached that, they well surpassed that. And so right now, we don't know what's going to happen. Now, something like this happened in 2020 in Oregon. So Oregon had this, I believe it was called the CARES Fund. So Oregon had a grant program for Black-owned businesses. For people that don't know, minority business, women businesses have been some of the most severely impacted during the COVID-19 pandemic. And in that same regard, many of us missed out, were overlooked, did not receive any money, in the earlier part of 2020. It wasn't even until recently, 2021, that some of us started being able to access more of these programs. So, when people don't understand why are they having these selections where they're giving the funding to women, to certain priority groups, it's because they were left out. They were left out. We were left out. That's just the bottom line. Okay. We want these programs to be equitable for everyone. We want every business owner, entrepreneur that qualifies for these programs to get the funding, but it just did not happen for a long time. And there's still barriers for these groups to get access to funding. That's why they did it. It is not for anything related to reverse discrimination or anything like that. We know the big banks they were rejecting for the PPP. How long did it take for them to even give us a seat at the table? By the time they even gave some of us a seat at the table, they had closed the program. They had ran out of funding. Then they added more funding. We were still locked out because they still were using that calculation of net income instead of gross income, right? So they really didn't consider how most of the businesses of minority and women function, how they operate, what their needs are. And so that was under the Trump administration. So that's when my understanding some of these things began to process is under the Trump administration. And under the Trump administration, that's where a lot of the businesses were left out. So if everything was made equitable in the beginning for these programs, we wouldn't even have a need to say, okay, we're going to give first a chance for minorities and women businesses and veteran businesses if they were never left out in the first place. We just need to get to a place where we are treating everyone equally, that we understand that all businesses have been impacted and that we provide relief to all businesses. I mean, because across the board, I mean, if we look at, home-based businesses, a lot of home-based businesses are left out of the equation. A lot of businesses that don't have employees at all, if they don't have employees or W-2 employees, and maybe they have 1099 contractors, they are excluded for a lot of different programs. The thing is to account for every single business, no matter what type of business they are, what type of business they have, what industry they're in, if they're a newer business, if they have been in business for years. All businesses have been impacted in some regard. And so let's give enough funding. I mean, even with the programs that have been rolled out and the billions that have gone to that, it's still not enough. I mean, and we already know, let's talk about the fraud. So all the billions that went to people that were committing fraud and these scams that didn't go to the business owners it should have gone to. So right now, this is what we're dealing with here. Like I said, Oregon had a similar situation. I believe their grant had launched in July of 2020. It was brought to a halt. Everyone that was approved, they couldn't get access to their funding. They just, I believe, in March of 2021, released the final payments to grant applicants. But let's just think about it. How many businesses that were just holding on, praying for that money, needed that money to keep their doors open, and because it was delayed, they didn't get it, they had to close their doors, right? And so that's where we are. So those of you, again, that applied for the Restaurant Revitalization Grant, let me know in the comments, where you are. What are your thoughts about, what is happening with this lawsuit? Even the 21-day priority period, I definitely want to know. And, I don't want to say that there's always something you can do, because someone asked me, what can we do? I need this money. There's nothing you can do as far as releasing the injunction. What you can do is you can put pressure on your leadership. You can be calling, petitioning, emailing your local congressional members, going to Twitter, calling the National Restaurant Association. They are a major advocate in this equation, fighting on behalf of restaurant businesses and businesses in the food industry they're actually advocating to get more money as well. So use your voice, use your power to make your voice heard, and let them know how this is going to devastate your business, how this is going to impact your business, how much you need this money for your business. So you definitely while they're going through this, you definitely want to make sure your voice is heard. Now, the average grant application was for over 200K. That tells you how much of a need that there was. That the average is 200K for applicants to be able to get access to this funding. So COVID lost 290 billion in sales in this industry. 90,000 restaurants closed either permanently or long term. 1.5 million jobs have not yet been recovered in the restaurant industry. And I know, like I said, again, the National Restaurant Association is an advocate in this regard. One thing that you should know is that the House committee, no, the Congress, not the House committee, but Congress has initiated a bill. They unveiled a bill called the Restaurant Revitalization Fund Replenishment Act of 2021 to provide additional 60 billion in funds to the 28.6 billion that has already been provided to the program. And like I said before, there were calls to add more money because they already knew that the 28 billion was low. The 28 billion was already low for what the need was. So regardless if you had a 21-day period for women, minorities, and veterans, the program was always underfunded. They needed to properly fund the program to meet the need of every applicant anyway. So that's where we are with the Restaurant Revitalization Grant. So again, funds are on hold for those that have applied, those that have been approved. And we will keep you posted on this as more information develops. But this is going to be important for you because I know how much of a need there is out there, how much of a challenge there has been with some of these programs. But again, with that, even with that going on, there's again pressure for the Congress to add additional funding, so to cover the additional applicants who've applied to the program. Because even with all the applicants, there is not enough to meet the need of every applicant that applied to the program. Okay, so if you have any questions about that, please let me know. I'm gonna move on to the Shutter Venue Operators Grant. This is a grant. Again, it's up to $10 million is the max for this program for shuttered venues. This program is more complicated. The process was more complicated. You had to be in SAM, you had to have a DUNS number. This has been rolling out slowly. I think during my last video, I said they had only funded 50 applicants of all the applicants that have submitted their applications. Now, this is a $16 billion program. So I haven't heard anything about funding running out. The applications are still open for this particular program. So if this is a grant program that you think you qualify for, or someone please have them apply before they do decide that they're going to close it, because we never know when they will. It could be tomorrow they say, okay, we ran out of funds, if we met the limit and we're closing off the application. So you want to get your application in as soon as possible. But there's even pressure the venue advocates. So we have advocates. Venue advocates are pressuring the SBA to start dispersing immediately the funds, because we're a year and a half. I mean, we're going on 2 years of this pandemic and being impacted by this pandemic as small business owners. Every day that is a delay, is a wait, is a day that a business may not be able to make it. I mean, and I understand the pressure that the SBA is under, having to roll out all these programs. It's a lot. They have to hire out contractors. This is not something that they do on a regular basis, right? We've never been in a situation where we've had a pandemic like this. And so we've all had to adjust. The agency, Congress, us as small business owners. But the bottom line is that we have an urgent need, that small businesses are still in crisis mode. Regardless of what people tell you, COVID is almost over. We have so many people vaccinated. You see people going out to new venues and things like that. Businesses are still impacted. And even with them getting more business, they're trying to catch up. You're trying to catch up from a year and a half. of not having sales or having not enough sales, no clients coming in, right? Losing employees, having to rehire. So having to outfit your venue or your brick and mortar or your daycare or whatever it is to meet COVID guidelines, right? Or to make it more safe for the people that come, patronize your business. So that's an added expense, right? Having training and having PPE equipment, all of those types of things are an added expense to the small business owner. So we need funding and we need it now. Like but it's taking a long time for these programs. Now that is extra snow. That's snail's pace slow to say that they've only issued 50 grants into bank accounts for the shutter venue operators grant. So there are calls. So understand we have advocates that are, trying to push to get us what we need so that we can, thrive during this time. So just know that is happening. The House Committee is also calling for more funds. I'm working on learning more about that. There's been not a real official statement or anything like that. But they know that there is a need. I mentioned 2 weeks ago there was two hearings at the House Committee of Small Business. I shared those videos as well. But there's definitely a call for more money. There's still more money needed for small business. I just told you, just in the restaurant industry alone, restaurants 90,000 closed. I mean, if Black-owned businesses 41%, and that was several months ago. Okay, they have reached 41% of Black-owned businesses had closed their doors. That is ridiculous. And I'm not talking permanently. I'm talking permanent, which is the reason why you see these programs that may say for Black-owned, for women-owned, for minority-owned. They know what groups were left out that did not get money, and they're trying to bridge the gap. Okay, it's not trying to keep money from other groups. It's to bridge the gap so that what other groups got, we need to get it too, right? So it just goes back again to just make sure every business gets the money, the relief that they need. Each legitimate business gets that whatever they need for their business to survive and thrive during this time. So that's SVO grant. PPP. No more word about PPP opening back up. We know this closed early May. There's only one lender that I know that's still accepting applications, and I haven't checked in the last few days. That's Wamply, and they're doing it not to process it, but in the hopes that they reopen the Paycheck Protection Program so that you will be in line. But that's all it is. So if you think that you're applying and it's going to be processed, it won't, because it closed on the 28th. Early from the May 31st deadline. But there are many people still many businesses still in the application process. So I get messages all the time. Still, people going through that process, getting funded. People are still stuck in the process, or businesses still having challenges. But right now, the biggest push is to actually get your loan forgiven. Okay, so you want to get your loan forgiven. If you've already been funded, let me know in the comments. So I know some of my peers that have already had their loans forgiven, just depending on when you apply for the program. So if you apply for Paycheck Protection Program in 2020, you've already used your funds within the 8 to 24 week period. You need to be applying for loan forgiveness, and you do that through your lender. So you want to reach out to your lender, make sure you know how to apply, where their portal is that they're using, and what part of the process, because they may be doing it in waves. Like some lenders are. Some were only taking those that had applied and gotten funded in 2020 before they move on to those that applied and getting funding in 2021. So definitely check with your lender on their process and their timeline for rolling out the forgiveness, because that's what you want. It is not automatically, your loan is forgivable loan is not automatically forgiven. You actually need to take a step and apply for forgiveness through your lender. And as I said previously, if you were funded 150 or less, the application is really super simple. It's a one-page application, and there's not any additional documentation you have to provide unless you did not provide the documentation in the early step, especially for second draw PPP money, because you didn't have to submit it. Now, depending on the lender, but you according to the SBA, you didn't have to submit it at the time that they funded you. But in order to get forgiveness, you will need to have that documentation. So that's why I said it's just better get it over with, submit the documentation up front. Then you don't have to worry about it on the back end. But if you didn't submit it up front, in order to get forgiveness, you will need to submit your documentation on the back end if you want to be forgiven. Okay. That is the PPP program. So again, I get messages every day about challenges with the program or trying to overcome. You got declined, or someone told me their application was withdrawn. And I know there's a struggle with a lot of these lenders, especially now, like they're under high demand. You can't get a hold of a person, a real person. So I know it can be very frustrating process to go through. I'm so glad I did not struggle with my PPP. It went relatively smoothly, especially if you have a relationship with your bank or the institution that gave you the loan. But I know a lot of you don't. You don't know who these companies are. You just apply through them, and they may be like an intermediary, right, where they're like a broker, and they just help facilitate you getting to the appropriate authorized lender. But they haven't been very helpful as far as giving you a status update. Some of you all have been in a pipeline for months and months and months at the approval or funded stage and still don't have your deposit. So if you have applied for PPP, just let me know where you are in the process, right? Are you still in process? Have you been denied? Did you apply for first and second draw? Are you in approved status? Are you at funded? And for how long have you been waiting in these different status points in the process? We definitely have so many explainer videos. I would encourage you to check those out. Helpful videos on what to spend your money on, if it's just you as the business owner, what to spend it on, eligible expenses to make sure you get forgiven. Because again, you must spend at least 60% on payroll related costs in order to get 100% forgiveness. You can get partial forgiveness, and if you don't get forgiveness at all, the loan rates, the terms are pretty good. It's a 1% interest rate, but there's really no reason you shouldn't get 100% forgiveness unless you don't do what you're supposed to do. So I would go for the full forgiveness. That's why we apply for the program. But there are people that, they got the PPP and they weren't entitled to it. They didn't really qualify, or whoever they had do their paperwork didn't do it correctly. So people have reached out to me in that regard. I have a video on that as well, one on frauds and scams. And so what to do in that situation, whether it was intentional or non-intentional, you just want to make sure that you take proactive measures before, the OIG, SBA, or IRS come knocking on your door. Okay. So that is PPP, targeted EIDL. Okay. So EIDL loan increases. A lot of these programs are still slow moving out, getting a little bit more quicker. But again, I just express, the challenges that the SBA is under, and they are the ones administrating the great majority of these programs. EIDL loans are still available for you to apply for. These are longer term loans. I did a video on different funding like PPP and EIDL alternative fundings, because I know, again, a lot of you are still waiting. You still have a business to run. You still need funding for payroll. You still need funding for equipment. You still need funding for expansion or whatever else you need. There are alternatives to these other relief programs that I talk about in that video. So go to the PPP and EIDL alternative funding video, and that would be a great help to you. I've been able to help quite a few people. I just helped get another business owner funded today through David Allen Capital. I'm an independent agent with them. and I have been for years. And we have a new program that can give business owner funded to same day today, right? It's Monday before noon. You could get funded today or next day, up to $25,000. So a lot of businesses need money now. You're still waiting. So this can be funding that can fill in the gap while you're still waiting on PPP, while you're still waiting on your EIDL loan. This can fill in the gap. So information is in the show notes in the description of this video, and I will pin it to the comments afterwards. So know that there are options. A lot of times business owners don't know that there are options available, other options available out there for you to get funding for your business, to get the capital you need to continue operations and continue building your business. So they're available. But EIDL loan is still available through December 31st, so you can apply for that through December 31st. EIDL increases are going very slow. If you apply for your EIDL increase, please let me know, where are you in that process? Has it been slow? How long have you been waiting? Because I know it's been it's like snail's pace, like getting a lot of this process. Now, I do know with the EIDL loan and EIDL grants, is a lot of it is due to it's not like just a shortage in staff. Is that a person has to look at, evaluate all of your different paperwork. Like when they first rolled this out, it was very quick. You're like, oh, they did it so well. They did it quicker. Okay, back in 2020, that's because they were not verifying as they are now, which caused a lot of fraud. So they're cutting down on the fraud. That's why they implemented the 4506T, which was not a requirement before. So a lot of businesses, fake businesses, scammers slipped through the cracks and got billions of dollars that they would not have gotten if they had that one form. That form allows SBA to validate what you actually have on file with the IRS. They can see if if you told the truth, if your information is inconsistent with the information that you gave them. That has happened as well. So some of you all are asking for increases, but based on the information on your tax return, you weren't even entitled to amount that you got, right? Or that amount you got the amount already, so you wouldn't qualify for more. But the increases, they have increased, and the administrator Gunsman is looking to increase the loan amount up to $2 million. That's where it was supposed to be in the beginning. Okay. But they increased it from 150,000 to 500,000 and increased the loan, increase the working capital months from 6 months to 24 months. That's a lot more money that you can have for your business. But again, if it's moving slow and you can't get your hands on it, you need another alternative until you can fill in the gap until you get that funding. I know so many people in that situation. You need funding to keep moving your business forward, and it's like you can't get it. We already know it's hard before COVID for a lot of us to get traditional funding from traditional banks. So that's what I'm saying. There's alternatives to that. So the information is in the show notes. If you look into it, see if you qualify. No obligation, no hard pull on your credit. That's a concern for people. All you need to be in business 6 months. So a lot of you can't even go and get funding because you haven't been in business a year or 2 years, right? So you can get funding. All you need to do is be in business 6 years, but you need to be bringing in verifiable bank sales of $5,000 a month or more. And you have a 450 credit score, and you see how much you qualify for, and then go from there. Okay, no obligation to see how much you can potentially qualify for. Now, the targeted EIDL grants, I know the SBA sent out about 200,000 emails to applicants of the EIDL program. These are the new population, so they haven't made an official statement, but I said that they're going to be rolling out the targeted EIDL program to more businesses. More businesses will be eligible, and that extension includes those that applied to the EIDL program in 2021. So my understanding is the SBA sent email notices to 200,000 of those. Now, I have not seen an official statement. I've looked for the news releases from the SBA. I haven't seen it in a fact sheet. So I'm still waiting on that for an official announcement. And I looked on the website. So on the website, there's still not a mention of this expansion under the targeted EIDL section on their website. So if you were one of the 20, if you applied to the EIDL program in 2021 and received an invite for the grant, let me know in the comments. Okay. So people are still getting invitations. So I just got someone just sent me this morning a notice that they sent me the screenshot that they got the invite. So this launched way back in February. So people are still getting their invitations now. Okay. And then people are now getting invitations for the supplemental. Now, when you get your invite, you will get invitation or ability to apply for the targeted EIDL up to 10,000 and the supplemental up to the supplemental for 5,000 in the same application. There's a little section, teeny section that says, would you like to be considered for the supplemental grant? Okay. And then you definitely want to check that if you want to be considered, and you could potentially qualify for a maximum of $15,000. Now, someone had contacted me, one of my viewers on YouTube. She may be watching right now. Congratulations to her. She did get the targeted EIDL grant. However, she was denied the supplemental. It's not a guarantee that you're going to get the supplemental grant. Now, she got the 10,000 or the balance thereof, but she was denied the supplemental grant. Now, in order to get the full 10,000 of the balance thereof, you need to be in a low-income community. You need to have 300 employees or less and be able to demonstrate a 30% or greater decrease in gross revenue from a period in 2020 compared to that same period in 2019. That's what you need to qualify for the 10. To qualify for the supplemental, you need to have a greater loss, a more severe loss of 50% or more, still be in a low-income community, but you need to have 10 employees or less. So what I explained to her is those are the qualifications. If you feel that you meet those qualifications, even though you got approved for the $10,000 grant, you can submit a request for reevaluation. That is their appeal process on the supplemental grant. So if that is you, if you've won and you got approved for one, denied the supplemental, I would encourage you, if you believe that it was an error that they denied you, submit your request for reevaluation. Congratulations to one of my viewers who, as she was denied. So she actually gave me a shout out. She was so super excited because she had applied for the targeted EIDL grant. She was denied. She filed an appeal. She went through the request of re-evaluation. They denied her again. And so I advised her on what to do in order to overcome that denial. And she overcame it and was approved. So congratulations to her. That just makes me happy to see that you keep fighting for what you deserve, right? Don't give up. Don't throw up the white flag. I know it's frustrating. I know it's challenging. I've been through it, but I don't give up. I'm definitely not giving up on free money that I know that I'm due. Now, if you don't qualify, you just don't qualify. But if you don't qualify under these terms, you can still use your voice, use your power, because at the end of the day, everyone that applied to the program in 2020 should have gotten it. Regardless of if you had can verify you had a 30% decrease, or if you're in a low-income community. If you applied in 2020 and you checked the box that said you wanted the advance, that we were supposed to get $10,000 in 3 days and didn't get anything, or you got short of that because they broke it down by how many employees you have, everybody should get the full $10,000. Everybody. So we're still pushing for that. We're still fighting for that. And I would encourage you all to do that too. There's a number of petitions out there. You could simply go to change.org to find a petition on all of these programs, right? And put these things, they work. Call your congressmen and women. I do it. I did it. I write them and I call them. Okay. So I would encourage you all to do that. But the pro is still going, is slower. It's not as slow as the Shutter Venue Operators Grant, but I went through they have reports on SBA website. I went through their latest report. So they release a new report on the EIDL program every week. so I can provide updates. I kind of see if they're moving faster. So there's still plenty of money available. It's just a matter of, getting these applications processed. And it is moving slower than it did before because they put in these extra protocols. People are looking at your application. They're verifying that 4506T and these other verification requirements to determine if you're going to get the money. Okay. So if you're having any challenges, if you've been funded, got to the bank statement or banking part, and there's any issues with that, you want to resolve that. So I did a video on that. Basically, any of these topics on the programs, there's an explainer video on it. So just go to the playlist, the appropriate playlist, either PPP, EIDL, or COVID-19 playlist, and you should see a video that explains or speaks to your particular situation. Make sure it's not you that's preventing you from getting access to the money, because I know there's still hundreds of thousands, if not millions, that still have not responded to the SBA's invite. Can't get $15,000 if you don't even respond to the invite. Okay, if you're not checking your inbox, if you're not checking your spam folders, so many people that have tuned in, they didn't even think about it till they saw the video. And so I'm sure there's some of you on here today. Oh, I haven't looked at my email. Oh, I never check my spam folder. I don't look at my promotional folder. Well, you're probably missing out on opportunities, and there's probably a notice in there from the SBA and an invite asking you to get your $15,000. That's what happened to a lady last week, except for the fact she saw it, but she didn't know what an advance was. She didn't know that it's the grant. She figured because she was denied the loan, the EIDL loan, because of credit, that she would not be qualified for the grant. That is not true. Your credit has absolutely nothing to do with if you qualify for the grant or not. You being denied the EIDL loan has nothing to do with whether you get approved for the EIDL grant or not. They're processed separately. They're two different programs that are processed differently. And so you probably just been looking at that email and thinking you don't qualify, and you do. I would encourage you to go to that email and get to applying today. If you have an email, apply. The worst they can say is no, you're denied because you don't meet the qualifications. Okay, but apply. There's something else I wanted to say on EIDL, but I forgot. But it's important to, again, just do your due diligence. There's nothing you can do about how fast or how slow that they're moving in process. There is no average. The goal is for the SBA to process the EIDL grants to give you a determination whether you're approved or denied within 21 days. We already know it's gone more than 21 days for a lot of people, but it could be you that's holding up the process and not the SBA. That's happened a lot of times. And so if it's been weeks since you've heard a status, I would call again and just find out what's going on with your application. Is there anything else you need to do? Is there anything you are missing? If they say no, okay, good. Then it's just them. You're just waiting. It's a waiting game. But if they tell you you didn't do something, they didn't get your ID, it didn't scan right, you didn't click a button that you should have clicked, you didn't provide information. One of the biggest challenges to overcome is a verifiable information. Right? Not being able to verify your information. Now, someone reached out to me. This is what I wanted to remember, because a lot of like 1099 workers apply for this program, and you may be eligible. But what happens is this time around, you got the invite, but you apply and you have no business income. And people did that because people just told them there's a grant, go apply for it. And so they weren't checking. They weren't doing all these protocols that they're doing now. And so you got money, but you won't get it again. You won't get an increase and you won't get the grant, because if someone received the invite and it's like a side hustle. You're treating your side hustle not like a business, and then you're going to miss out on funding. So if you're working your business sporadically or whatever, or you're not reporting it properly, you didn't file it on your taxes, or you only have W-2 income, employee income on your taxes, and you have nowhere that shows you have a business, you will not qualify. They will deny your application for the grant and for the loan and for the increase, because that's what they're checking now. So a lot of people that apply can't verify that they even have a business because it's only W-2 income, or they just fail to put any business, any record of their business on their tax returns. So now you're trying to apply for this funding. You can't do it because there's no record. You're not even accounting for the business that you're running. Okay. I don't care if you're using Cash App or whatever if you're not reporting it, you are actually required by law to report your business income. If you make $600 or more in your business, I don't care what kind of business is, you're supposed to put it on your taxes. Okay. So you need to be working with a professional that know what they're doing. Some of y'all using these non-professional, I don't know where you're getting tax people, accountants that don't know what they're doing. They're messing up your paperwork. You really have to do your due diligence. And so we offer referrals all the time because that is very important. There's so much opportunity right now, but what is preventing a lot of you all from getting access to them is because you're not properly structured in your business. Your business is not organized, and you're not really treating your business as a business. You're still treating it as a hobby or a side hustle. And don't understand that you need to account for every sale. You need to account for your expenses. You need to be properly recording these. At any time, any federal, state, local agency can come and inquire about your business transactions, and you need to be ready to provide that information. So you can be penalized, but the most important thing is that you're locking yourself out of a lot of the funding that is out there. That's just the bottom line. When I talk to my peers, business development peers across the board, we all say the same thing. They're the same issues. And I say, have you talked to your people? Salon barbers, have you talked to those that you have as 1099 workers? Tell them to apply. I told them they're not taking action. They're not doing it. Or they're doing it, but they can't qualify because they have not really taken the steps. They don't have the business acumen. But you have to understand what you don't know and go learn it. There's no excuse. Really. There's so many organizations that can help you for free. So you can't even say, okay, I don't have money. You can go to SBA, you can go to SCORE, you can go to SBDC, you can go to your Women Business Center, you can go to the Minority Business Center, you can go to the Veteran Business Center. So there are business centers that are funded to help support you in your business. So to say, oh, I don't have money to do this or do that, take the time to invest in your business, get your business set up so that you can actually take advantage of these opportunities. There's not only COVID, but there's other grant opportunities that are non-COVID. So while I'm on here, before I wrap up, I'm going to speak about those really quickly, just recap them. I did videos on these grants specifically. So the deadlines are in July. So one is the Community Navigator pilot program grant. Is a $100 million grant program. It is a more complex grant, but these are for those if you have an organization, 501c3 organization, and you want to apply for the grant to be a community navigator to help other entrepreneurs and small business owners navigate this and access the Small Business Administration's program to be able to provide boots on the ground, technical assistance to them. So maybe you have an entrepreneurship program or something like that. Many of you do, an entrepreneur hub, a co-work. That would be good for this type of a project. So I did a video. Community Navigator pilot program is the name of the program. I believe the deadline for that is July 2nd or July 12th. One of those, but is around the corner. Two other grant programs I just talked to a couple of people on collaborating. So try to collaborate on these different initiatives. Don't go in it by yourself. Get like-minded, committed people that's going to share in the risk and the rewards with you. But the SBA has the SBIR grant. This is a regular grant. This is their 6th annual accelerator fund. So if you have an accelerator, incubator, or entrepreneurship program, small business program where you help business owners, I would encourage you to apply for that. It's a simple application, one page. You need to put together 12 slides. Collaborate with somebody. This one you can get $50,000 for. The other one, this is the brand new launch of the program. It's the SBIR Catalyst program, and I know it's for those that help support entrepreneurs that are in, again, the disadvantaged groups. So minority, women, veterans, disabled businesses. So this may be one for you. I know that's the grant that we're going after. Again, I'm always open for collaboration if you're interested, but you must be serious. You must come ready with your business in order for me to be able to collaborate. I mean, but if you're interested in collaborating, reach out to me, hello@shebosstalk.com. I'm always open to collaboration. I think that's how we're going to be able to really dominate in this decade. I say that and beyond. That's how we're going to be able to build wealth and build legacy, is doing it together, going after these larger contracts and grants that are not even COVID related. I just mentioned 3 right there. And that's not even all of them. There's many more than that are available and ready and waiting for you to be ready. Okay. The Biden administration already said that they had already made the announcement that they're putting more money to bringing on or making the contracting space more equitable. And by 2026, they want contracts, because they're not already, only 20% goes to minority business, women business, and disadvantaged business. 90%, you can guess who that goes to. So again, it goes back to the equity and these lawsuits that, are out here. Instead of making things equitable, they want to say that it's reverse discrimination. This makes no sense to me. When we just need to make it equitable for everybody across the board. So by 2026, they want to make government contracts available to all of these groups 50%. They want to bring us from 10% to 50% by 2026. So, but are you ready? This is the time to get your business ready. And we have resources and tools, master classes, cheat sheets, ebooks, all to help you get yourself ready so you can go after this money. That is what is going to help you scale faster. Why are you struggling to get one client when you can go after a multi-year, multi-million-dollar contract? Multi-year, multi-million-dollar grants. And partner with someone. But some businesses, again, that are like-minded and committed. You know who they are. Think about things you've been wanting to do, and you're like, oh, I don't know if I can do this by myself. Go get somebody. Somebody else wants to do the same thing you're doing, but make sure you do your due diligence. We talked about this in the video I did. If you haven't checked out the interview with Miss Moore on faith, taking faith, right? Faith into entrepreneurship. Taking that action, using your faith and putting it into action. That video was so powerful, and I know you would get a lot out of it. So a lot of you all that have just been waiting by the sidelines, you've been scared to take that leap. Be scared, but take the leap anyway. Just do it. Just do it. Okay. So those are the updates for today. I know I've been on a little bit longer than usual, but I am going on a business trip, so you may not hear from me this week. After this, you may hear from me on Wednesday, but I have a lot coming up. I'm going to do a video on some more relief programs so that you know about them. I'm going to do a video on capital, how capital can help you in your business. Capital is the number one reason, or lack thereof is the number one reason that businesses fail. That means that capital is important to the health of your business and to sustaining your business. You can't operate a business, you can't grow a business without capital. So I'm going to do a video and show you again how to go get it. Okay. So let me just scroll. I see all of your comments out here, just seeing if there's any major questions. Congratulations, Glennis, for receiving your grant. She says she received 2 in her bank account last week. Congrats. I don't know if anyone had Bentworth Capital as a PPP lender through one. I don't know. Nightmare. It's been crazy for a lot of people, even other lenders through Womply, but a lot of people have gotten approved. So, whatever program it is, there's people that's had success with them and there's people that have not. The later into the game, to me, it seemed like it just got worse. And the processing is you're just on hold for weeks and months. Haven't heard anything on your loan increase in 3 weeks. If you can follow up, I can't do anything. I can't say if they don't respond, but just keep reaching out to see. Okay, SBA said that they will get back to me in a few weeks. Someone else is waiting since April on loan increase, denied twice, third reconsideration process. We have a COVID resource center with our grant tracker. We also have on that tab, if you click and hover over that tab, there's information, help information for those going through the reconsideration process that'll help you get approved. So if you need that, go through that, because if you're applying 3 times for reconsideration, there's something wrong. There's something you're not doing right. You want to make sure that you're speaking directly to whatever the denial is, and just that, and provide documentation. So you will have to provide some follow-up documentation to prove your point, right? Prove that you should be, tell them why you should be approved. Okay. So Tanya says she done all kind of hooping and jumping and can't get EIDL grant. She's an Uber driver for the 5 years. Make sure. So some of you are saying you can't get this grant, you can't. But do you know why? Do you know what the problem is? Do you know the reason you were denied? You should, regardless of the program, you should know the reason. Start there, and then figure out why were you denied. Find out why you were denied, and then if you believe it's an error, and how are you have to be able to prove, right, that you are entitled to that money, right? So if you are in a low income area and they said that you're not, you have to prove that you are. If they denied you because you didn't, you couldn't prove that you had a 30% decrease, and you're like, yes, I did. I lost a lot of revenue. Well, you have to show it. You have to be able to demonstrate it, because what they're looking at, the application you submitted, clearly they can't see it. But sometimes there's an error on their side. That's why you then have to break it down, go back through, put together your tables, and show what sales you made every single month. People have had a lot of challenges understanding how to report their sales. It's been a big problem, especially with those that are 1099, right? Uber drivers and the like, because you're using your personal account. So some of you all don't even know what you made every month. You need to know how much money you're making every single month. Okay. And then be able to show them. So we do provide one-on-one assistance. Links are in the comments as well. Those are always limited. I'm looking for someone that applied for the restaurant. Okay, Missy. She applied May 3rd, applied and reapplied May 20th. Why did you reapply? What's the status right now? Drop it in the comments after this video so I can see it. Someone else got approved for PPP, signed the docs, but the company has not sent funds. That's a lot of people, unfortunately. You're stuck. That means you're stuck in that process. You sign the documents. The lender has to get back to you, right? Once you sign, then the next step is the SBA's approval and the loan number, right? Then once you get that, then they say that your funds are distributed. So if you sign the paperwork, that's all you do until you hear back from them. So again, it's another waiting game. All right. So a lot of people are in that scenario, unfortunately. So again, if you have any questions or want me to address anything after this broadcast, please feel free to drop it and I will follow up after the show. Again, as always, I hope this has been beneficial for you. Again, do subscribe if you have not subscribed already, if you're enjoying our content, if we've helped you any way in your business. And we continue to share those testimonials with us, because as frustrating it is, people lose hope every single day. So that's another reason I come on here, to let people know to keep the faith. I share my struggles with the process, the challenges I've been able to overcome, because I just refuse to give up. I just refuse to give up, and I'm going to make my voice heard. Last week, I called my city, asking them, where's the money in the city, and why isn't it coming to other types of businesses? I called last week and emailed last week the state, because they're about to roll out a grant, and I know they're leaving out businesses that don't have W-2 employees. So I'm asking them, what about the ones that don't have W-2 employees? Do you think we're not impacted? Because we are. And so where's the funding for us? You have to use your voice and use your power. So I hope this encourages you to do that, and that you see some real results. And what you can see when you put faith into action, you will see results. You may have to wait. You will have to exercise patience, but you're learning in the process. So as challenging as it is, take the good from it, because there's really good from it. It's just going to develop you as an entrepreneur and a business owner. Because if all of us business owners that's been in the game for a while, then it just builds up your resiliency. You will be presented with all kinds of challenges. This is just a few of them. And when you're in business, so this is just a step towards that, understanding the challenges and how to then overcome, because you will experience bigger challenges than this, and you can overcome those challenges as well. So thank you so much for tuning in. Continue to be the boss with amplified impact. Continue to stay safe and good health. Bye.